Welcome to our tour of an extended veranda stateroom on Celebrity Reflection. We stayed in cabin 6211 on our recent Caribbean cruise, and today we'll show you everything from the storage and outlets to the bathroom and, of course, that incredible oversized balcony. You'll notice that throughout this tour, we'll be mixing footage from when we first boarded with footage from our last day on the ship. Seeing both the perfect version and the real-life version that's been lived in for a few days gives you a much better idea of how the space actually functions. If you enjoy detailed cabin tours like this one, consider subscribing. We focus on practical cruise tips so you know exactly what to expect before you sail. And here's one tip that we really appreciate on Celebrity. As soon as you board, you can head straight to your stateroom to drop off your bags and freshen up. Every other cruise line we've sailed on has kept the cabins closed until after 1:30 p.m. This is a small perk that makes embarkation day on Celebrity feel much more relaxed. When we first walked in, I wasn't completely sold on the cabin layout. By the end of the cruise, though, it had definitely grown on me. There are several design choices that really worked well, and a few things I think could be improved. Let's start with the vanity area. The split design gives you a higher section that works well as a traditional vanity, and a lower section that's meant to function as a desk. For us, though, the desk area felt a little too small to comfortably work from, and it mostly became our charging station. You'll find 2 standard US outlets and 1 European outlet here. Above the vanity are 2 very narrow shelves. They were really only large enough to hold our ultimate cruise planner, which, to be fair, is something you want to keep within easy reach anyway. If you're taking a longer cruise, I definitely recommend bringing a small hanging organizer. Ours hung perfectly beside the vanity using 2 heavy-duty magnetic hooks and added some much-needed storage options. The vanity also houses the safe and the minibar. The safe is very straightforward. Just enter any 4-digit code, press lock, and you're set. The minibar comes stocked with drinks and snacks, along with a price list. $15 for that tiny bottle of vodka definitely caught my attention. And watch out, even if you purchase a Celebrity beverage package, minibar items are not included. Storage was probably my biggest complaint about this cabin. Celebrity gives you 3 large drawers beneath the vanity, which hold plenty of clothes, but I personally prefer open shelving on a cruise because I can see everything at a glance. There really aren't any shelves for folded clothing in this room, so I found myself digging through these drawers more often than I'd like. The sofa was about average in terms of comfort, but we really like the coffee table. It's a great size for room service, which brings me to one of our favorite Celebrity perks, complimentary continental breakfast room service. It's a great option on port mornings when you want to enjoy breakfast while you're getting ready. Here's a helpful tip if you're ordering hot coffee or tea. Marking 1 on the breakfast cards gets you a small pot, which pours about 2 cups. Marking 2 gets you 2 individual pots, while marking 3 gets you a large carafe. To the left of the sofa, there's a small space that turned out to be perfect for storing shoes. And one little design detail we appreciated is that the windows slide completely out of the way, giving you the full width of the window instead of blocking part of your view. The bed was very comfortable. Joe and I both agree that Princess still has our favorite cruise beds, but Celebrity comes a close second. They use a waffle-style support system underneath the mattress, and I honestly think that's the secret. On either side of the bed, you have a nightstand and a small light, but no USB charging port. If you're sailing on the Reflection, I definitely recommend a USB charging hub. The closet was probably my biggest disappointment. Because it's tucked right next to the bed, it felt a little awkward to access, especially if one person was still sleeping. As I mentioned earlier, there aren't any shelves inside either. Joe stored some of his clothes in one of the overhead cabinets found above the bed, but since I'm a bit shorter, I couldn't comfortably reach mine. Instead, I used it to store my laptop and other electronics, which actually worked out really well because they stayed safely tucked away when I wasn't using them. The good news is that our full-size suitcases fit under the bed, and because there was space on both sides of the bed, they were easy to pull back out whenever we needed something. Inside the closet, you'll also find 2 complimentary robes to use during your cruise, along with an umbrella, which I thought was a nice touch. Just inside the entryway, there's a full-length mirror and 2 coat hooks. My only complaint here is that the hooks are pretty shallow and my jacket kept slipping off. It's a tiny detail, but one I'd love to see Celebrity improve during a future dry dock. Moving into the bathroom, I thought Celebrity did a really nice job with the layout. For a cruise ship bathroom, it felt surprisingly spacious. We especially liked the shelves beside the sink because they gave each one of us a spot for our own toiletries. Celebrity provides body wash, separate shampoo and conditioner, hand soap, and even body lotion. The separate toiletries are a nice upgrade over the all-in-one dispensers you'll find on many cruise lines. And now, for the highlight of this cabin, the extended veranda. This balcony is honestly the reason to book Cabin 6211. It felt noticeably larger than a standard balcony with plenty of room for both of us to move around comfortably. The full-size table was large enough for 2 people to enjoy a meal outside, and we never felt cramped. Our biggest regret was that this was only a 3-night cruise with no sea days, so we didn't get nearly as much time out here as we would have liked. Overall, we had a fantastic time sailing on Celebrity Reflection. If you're planning a celebrity cruise, don't stop with this cabin tour. Check out our other videos where we cover our favorite experiences on board, the pros and cons of sailing with Celebrity, and lots of practical tips to help you get the most out of your cruise. And remember, no matter what ship you sail on, no matter what cabin you book, adventure awaits.